What a handsome devil that was there. Happy birthday, Todd Jones. Welcome to episode number 166, season 9, episode 5 of the show here on Shaw. Our musical guest right behind me right now, Mark Crissinger, not named after a sewing machine, but he is a songwriting machine of the highest level. We're going to get to hear some of his tunes throughout the show. All right, on today's show, we actually have a lot of very inspirational segments. We're happy to welcome back Works of Heart, a project that encourages all ages to create art that challenges racism, bullying, and bigotry. Not to be confused with the Works of Heart, which include Crazy on You and Barracuda, best rock and roll song of all time. All right, we're going to find out about some upcoming fundraising initiatives for the Nanaimo 710 Club. It's an organization that provides healthy and hearty meals for those less fortunate in the community, and a lot more nutritious than those who are dining on the Nanaimo 711 Club. As much as I love churros. All right, do you want to raise funds for the Nanaimo Regional General Hospital and have a blast while doing so? Well, we've got the soiree for you. Stay tuned, details on Shine 2020 coming up soon. Fans of the stage are going to want to stay with us to hear about an upcoming Canadian theatre production, The Birth of Weza, coming to the Harbour City Theatre later this month. And on the sports beat, where segments are both inspirational and perspirational, we're going to find out about a rapidly growing sport and social club for adults in Nanaimo that's looking for more participants. We'll see how you can get involved. But first, we're going to meet two representatives of a very new hockey association that's working to provide more opportunities for Indigenous youth to get involved in the game. So whether you're a fan of the Canadians or the Leafs, aka the Habs or Have-Nots, get your stick on the ice and get skating to enjoy the show right here on Shaw.
Have you ever looked at a local hockey game, whether it be with minor hockey or on one of the junior teams in town, and seen who makes up the team? One of our guests today are from the Kw'umut Lelum Society, and they're talking about what is underrepresented, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that. I have with me Emily Simpson, who is with Kw'umut Lelum, and Tim Harris, who's also with Kw'umut Lelum, and they're with a program that they're starting up called the Salish Storm Hockey Association. Tim, can you tell us a little bit about the background in the Nanaimo area and what's going on with the kids and youth here and what the activities they partake in?
Well, I think it's what this is doing. It's given our First Nations kids that are in care an opportunity, and I think that's the biggest thing, because when they're already in care, they're at a deficit already. So what we're trying to do here is give them that opportunity to take part in sport. With that being said, we're also looking at their social, emotional, mental and spiritual being, and I think that's really important for our First Nations kids. And I have my own experience, born and raised in the Staminas First Nation. Putting my son through hockey, I knew how hard that was, so I couldn't imagine how hard it would be for other First Nations to do that. And I was lucky to have a job and to be able to afford it, but I think that's it is a difficult thing. Hockey's not the cheapest thing to do, so we managed to get through, and my son played at a little bit of a higher level, so we managed to do that. But I'm really happy about the opportunity that Kw'umut Lelum and this Salish Storm does for the kids in care. So it's important for them.
Okay. And really, in essence, and when we say they're underrepresented in Nanaimo, there's not many kids who are of Indigenous background who play hockey. I can't think of more, I can count them on one hand in the numerous years that I've coached there. Emily, can you tell us a little about the background and where you're going with this program? Because you started to collect equipment.
Yes, we've reached out to Nanaimo Minor Hockey, and they shared the word out, and we've had many people donate equipment. We've had over 15 people and 120 pieces of equipment in total, anywhere from skates, helmets, socks, pants.
Let's roll some of those pictures that you've given us about what's going on right now in your collection of that.
Yes, so what's going on is we have a introduction to hockey in September, and we have
Okay. And you've already collected some equipment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and here's some of the kids, and you're starting with ball hockey.
Yes.
And that's being held at the covered rink, outdoor rink,
The multi-purpose
sport area.
Yeah.
Good. And these are kids who are playing street hockey just like everybody else down the street. And the last picture shows the whole group of leaders and instructors and supervisors and all the kids.
We have guest Miles Pearson with the Vancouver Island University Mariners hockey team. He comes out and he has some players too that come out and support the kids and provide tickets to the kids so they can be exposed to the hockey world and community and just have that exposure, because there's barriers where families aren't able to attend these financially, and it's important that we give them these
activities. Great.
Activities, yeah.
And this is some of the equipment. Really, what you're going to now start is taking this program onto the ice in the fall?
Yes, we are using in the fall, September 2020, we're using the ball hockey program as a feeder system to the ice. So all the kids that are playing ball hockey, we will be going forward and providing ice time for them and giving them equipment as well. Yeah.
Well, one of the things, and I guess we're starting to wrap up here, but one of the things you're looking for is continued support in terms of donated equipment. If you have equipment that's around the house and your child and your children have outgrown it, and it's still usable and still safe, get a hold of the people, Emily, and the information is on the screen here about where to donate that equipment, because this program needs it. These kids need the program, and it's their way back into integrating into our hockey programs here in Nanaimo. Yes. Thank you for coming, Emily. Tim, I think it's really important, as you said, to have these kids be involved in their own community. Yep. Good.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks,
wonderful.
Brian.
And let's turn it over to Matt with another sport program, this time for adults.
Thank you very much, Brian, Emily, and Tim. Really great to have you here representing Salish Storm. Of course, as you heard, they're getting youth into recreation, such a worthwhile endeavor for both physical and mental health. But as Brian alluded to, they're also great for adults as well. So we've got two gentlemen on the show, believe just that, the founders of the Nanaimo Sport and Social Club, Chuck Hawker and Jamie Kuhn. Welcome, gentlemen, to the program.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, before you get into the program itself, I want to talk a little bit about your interest in sport and recreation. And Chuck, we'll start with you.
Sure. Sports and recreation is something I grew up just playing a ton of competitively, and even just as a fun thing to do. Jamie and I were best friends growing up, so we'd make up games in the backyard and just kill time that way, and that was really one way that we bonded. So for us, it was an important thing, not just the activity component for health, but also the social component.
All right, Jamie, who's the better athlete?
Definitely me. That's why I get the more competitive divisions. So, yeah.
Exactly. Well, obviously you turned that into this program. So now we talk a lot about different sport and rec programs here in the city and the regional district on this show. What makes the Sports and Social Club you guys have founded different than those programs, or where does it fit in?
Well, I think a big thing is just we just wanted to play sports that we get to play in high school and in elementary school, these fun sports, and then you become adults and you stop playing them. So a big thing, that's why we started with kickball and dodgeball, these sports that aren't offered in town, and they're a lot of fun to play. So we wanted to get adults involved and get out there and have fun and be active. It was important to us.
I guess too, with sort of going back to those elementary school type sports or whatever, that makes sort of the social aspect a little more easier to come across, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's kind of a lower barrier to entry. A lot of people might be intimidated to play organized softball or baseball or hockey unless they grew up playing it. But when we get registrations coming in, players are always like, I haven't played dodgeball since high school or elementary school. And I'm like, great, that's basically everybody that's playing. You're in the same boat, so you don't really feel scared joining.
Yeah, exactly. I think we got a video actually. We can roll that now. It shows some of the sport and some of the activities. All right, we'll get that fire on the screen. Again, I think got some dodgeball and some kickball on that video. Again, dodgeball. You don't have Vince Vaughn showed up yet, have you? To any
Not
any
yet.
games?
No. This might bring him out. But yeah, this is the dodgeball that we run, and it took off pretty crazy. It has only been going for about 16 months. In our first season, we had 16 teams register to play, and we have 3 divisions now. There's A, B, and C. So A gets a lot of baseball players. It's really hard to catch, and you can barely see the ball go from point A to point B. And then you've got Rec C, and it's a lot of people that maybe haven't played a lot of sports. That's a one-on-one. That's how you end a game once it's down to 2 players. It's pretty fun. Otherwise, you normally can't cross the line like that. But yeah, Rec C, we get a lot of players. They might be families trying to find a way to connect, or people that haven't played a ton of sports.
I'm seeing here in the video clip here, folks, obviously different ages, male and female. So it's co-eds. Are there any sort of age limitations, minimums, maximums sort of thing?
Yeah, we have a minimum of 19, so it's just for adults, and the maximum, if you want to come out and play, there's no real maximum. We have people in their 50s coming out and playing dodgeball and other sports, so it's really good to get people of different age groups getting together and having a good time together.
See, it looks like futsal here, right? So indoor soccer, is it 4 against 4?
Yeah, it's 4v4, 1 goalie, 3 players out. And we've got a good mix of players there too, some with lots of soccer experience and lots of players that are just looking for an activity, and maybe they play dodgeball or kickball through us, and they want to stay involved and stay connected with their friends.
As we get close to the end of the video here, I do want to ask, I understand you have some more sports and I guess new seasons coming up, more programs coming up here as we get into the spring.
We have dodgeball. It's another season of dodgeball starting in April, and then we also have some new sports we're going to try out. We're going to try out some volleyball on grass in the spring, and then we're going to do some beach volleyball in the summer, and then we have our kickball, which is very popular, starting in June.
Perfect. All right, one more question to you here before we wrap up. I understand you received some pretty excellent recognition from the Nanaimo Sports Achievement Awards recently. So you speak about that.
Yeah, last week we got emailed that we were nominated as a finalist for Sports Administrators of the Year. And I think that just really goes to show that we want to do things at a really high level. We were very professional about things. We do a lot of media so that players can also still feel connected when they're not playing the sport, and they look forward to looking at those things. And we're looking forward to attending the ceremony later this month.
All right, well, congratulations are in the nomination, and both of you, thanks again for your work contributing to, again, health and recreation for adults here in Nanaimo. Let folks know Nanaimo Sports and Social Club, NanaimoSSC.com, I believe is the website.
You got that right.
Perfect, yeah, people can check out the programs and sign up from there. So Chuck, Jamie, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and all the best with your programs moving forward.
Thanks again for having us.
Yep, very happy to have you here. All right, so now we're also going to run now to another group also contributing to health and wellness here in a much different matter in Nanaimo. Kerilie, let's send it over to you.
Thanks so much for that, Matt. You know, I'm really excited about my guest today because there's some very vulnerable people in our community that need assistance, and my guests are involved in helping those people. And I'm talking about Leon Cake and Tim McGrath of the Nanaimo 710 Club Society. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Now, you're both board directors,
Yes.
and the 710 Club is in an active fundraising campaign at the moment. But first, let's just ask you, what does the 710 Club do? What is the 710 Club? So I'll start with Leon.
We
or
provide
Tim.
breakfast
Tim? Yeah.
and a bagged lunch to 115,000 meals every year right here in Nanaimo.
Wow. And to some of our most vulnerable people in our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, from all walks of life.
All walks of life.
Yeah.
We get everything from young children coming in with their parent or parents, most often single, that need something to help them until the check arrives.
Yeah, yeah.
And all the way to a lot of senior citizens who are restricted on Canada Pension Plan and just run out of money.
And also, you would be assisting homeless people as well?
Huge numbers of homeless
Yes.
people as in the city, as everybody knows.
Yeah. So now we know that the 710 Club is doing really important work. You provide a breakfast, a soup in the morning, and a bagged lunch that people that have absolutely nothing can enjoy and indulge in. And this is really helping people that really need this service, and it's important. So what are you doing for fundraising at the moment, and how can our community get behind you so that you can continue into the years ahead?
Well, the public can always donate either financially on our webpage or they can volunteer. We need both. Right now we have a program running We're going to be holding a beer and burger down at the Old City Station at the 27th of March.
Okay.
Tickets are $20. You can buy as many tickets as you want. We're hoping that with that'll give us some additional funds to work with.
Okay, and we'll just show some photos of the wonderful Nanaimo 710 Club. And as we show those photos, I want to ask you, Leon, what's the best way for people to donate? Do you want cash? Do you want patrons? Do you want food? What is it that you need?
Well, we have a pretty good arrangement right now for loaves and fishes on some of the food that we get, but the cash is very important in the sense that it enables us to do many different things in our organization, because we don't have a lot of paid people, very few. I think we have a couple. Our little administrator works 10 hours a week, but mainly it's to things like if our stove breaks or one of our pancake griddles breaks, you know, we need the money to go ahead and purchase those things. And we're constantly always trying to do, you know, the small things in order to make it stretch a very long ways, because we get a lot of, as Tim said, we're getting more elderly people, you know, and sometimes just a bowl of porridge and some soup isn't going to last them for the whole day. So the bag lunch is important. If we can increase something in that bag lunch by having some extra money to do it, it's really awesome for that, because that might be the only second meal in their whole day till the next day when they come and see us. And that is happening in our community. It does happen. And so whatever anybody can do to support us financially or volunteer, you know, we have organizations that take care of breakfasts on the weekends. So those breakfasts might consist of, in some cases, eggs, sausage, you know, things that they don't get during the week. It's kind of like a specialty breakfast. And we get a big turnout. Sometimes we serve 350, 400 plates.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things that the money would help us with and extend, you know, our ability to serve more, because we do have times when we have to turn people away. We've run out of food because we cook so much of what we have. And then, of course, you know, we go right till 11 o'clock on a Saturday, 10 o'clock on a Monday to Friday. But, you know,
Well,
you only
I hate
have
to
so much.
interrupt, but
Yeah.
we're running out of time here.
Oh.
But I just want to thank you both for joining us and really put out the appeal to the community to get behind you and support you. People can donate by e-transfer.
Yes.
And go to your website and check out more and make those donations happen for you. And I hope everyone will get out to your beer and burger as well. Thanks so much for joining me today, Leon and Tim. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us here.
Thanks.
for having us.
Okay. And we're going to pass it along next to the wonderful Mark Crissinger, who's got a wonderful tune for you next.
I've been chasing my tail and never doing what I'm told. I've been cutting the grass on the greener side of the road. Now my heart tells me it's true. I know there can only be you, so I'm gonna love you every single night and day. Love is so easy when I walk right through the door. Don't let anyone tell you you can't try just once more. Yeah, now my heart tells me it's true. I know there can only be you, so I'm gonna love you every single night and day. We all are hoping for a love that feels so right. Open up your restless heart and let your love light shine. We all are hoping for a love that feels so right. I've been thanking the stars above since you walked into my life. Gonna do my best and give you all I can. 'Cause all I really want is to be your loving man. And in my heart I know it's true. I know there can only be you. So I'm gonna love you every single night and day. Yes, I'm gonna love you every single night and day. Yes, I'm gonna love you every single night and day.
The basic therapy I offer is not therapy per se, it's more of a ritual forgiveness.
A what?
Everyone needs to be forgiven by someone. God, a religious figure, our parents, friends, other human beings, animals, and so on and so on. Are you following?
I don't think so. I am not religious.
Oh no. Okay, have you ever done something wrong?
Of course.
Did you enjoy it? Not the subsequent guilt or shame, but the act itself. Did you enjoy doing that wrong thing or things?
Yes.
That's because human beings are terrible. And that's all right. I'm a terrible person. I embrace that. I own that. It's all right to be hateful and terrible. You just need forgiveness so you can move on and accomplish what you need to accomplish. I forgive you.
I appreciate that, but as far as accomplishments go, I feel like I haven't accomplished anything.
Of course you have.
I wrote some cult classic novel that made lost, fragile undergrads feel like there was every guy they met at a seedy dive bar would be some sort of prophet, that there is beauty in the misunderstood, but there isn't any beauty, anymore for me.
You don't see beauty.
No, I do, or I did.
You don't want to write.
No, I do. I do want. I wanted so much to be special, to walk into a room and be recognized as someone who understood something about humanity that no one else did. And now.
Now what?
Well, and now I don't know. I don't know anything, Susan. I don't know anything. People keep saying, write what you know. How? How can I write what I know if I've just realized that I don't know anything?
Good, that's good.
How? How is that good?
Because you don't know anything.
Oh, okay. Great, I feel better. Is that supposed to be helpful?
None of us know anything really.
Oh, good. So we're all idiots, a unified stupidity. I feel better.
Don't be sarcastic. Listen to me. You're an intelligent person, but you could be more intelligent. True intelligence is recognizing the limits of the human brain. Once we accept that, we're forced to find ways around our limitations. We become more inventive and imaginative once we come to terms with our inability to understand. Think about it, Eleanor. We invented our whole society. We made it up. Everything you think you know was discovered or invented by someone who was probably just as much of an idiot as you are. But that's great. For all you know, you could have discovered electricity if the timing were different.
I don't know about that.
Of course you don't. You don't know anything.
I don't know anything.
You don't know anything.
You don't know anything.
I don't know anything.
You don't know squat.
I don't, Eleanor. I don't know squat.
Wow, me either.
You don't know squat, and I forgive you.
I know that I need to have a baby.
All right, everybody, what you just saw there was a brief scene from The Birth of Weza, a play that's hitting the Nanaimo stages later this month, written by Joanne Sarrazin and directed by Joe Bembridge, who we have in studio with us this evening. Thanks for coming.
Oh, thanks so much for having us. It's great to be here.
It is really great to be here. So The Birth of Weza takes place under the umbrella of Merrick Productions.
That's right.
Can you tell us a little bit about Merrick Productions?
Yeah, Merrick Productions was formed last year. Our first production, we were actually on the show. It was the Miss Ellen Q show. Miss Ellen Q presents a drag love story. So it was a drag show. It was a solo show that I was performing in, and I'd written and directed as well, and co-writer Bryn Simons. And so we're wanting to bring some theater to the already fabulous theater scene here in Nanaimo that might be a little bit on the edgier side.
Oh,
right?
do tell. What does edgier side mean?
Well, we did put a warning on this show. There's some language, but it also explores some contemporary adult themes.
Okay.
So the overall kind of premise of the story is you meet these 4 fabulously eccentric individuals that end up in 2 couples, and as they're going through their dating journey, the question of should we have a baby, or I really want to have a baby, or I really don't want to have a baby, all these conversations are thrown around in really comedic but also dramatic ways. I think so many people in so many different times have faced that question. I think relationships can either end or move forward based around that concept. And I think especially now we live in a time where it's kind of optional to be in a relationship and maybe not decide to have kids, and that's okay.
It is okay.
That's okay. So I do describe it as it's a dark, dark, dark comedy, but there's so many laughs, but then there's so many kind of human moments in the show. It's a cast of 4. And it's all local actors at all different stages of their acting career. And yeah, we're really excited to share this production. Yeah.
We're really excited. I actually got to see the L&Q Love Drag Story.
Awesome.
And it was really, really, really fantastic.
Great.
I'm interested in hearing a little more about your playwright. Can you tell me a bit about her?
Yeah, so our playwright, her name's Joanne Sarrazin. She's based in Toronto, works in Toronto and Montreal. I studied with Joanne at Concordia University, and we created a relationship there. And Joanne has been working in indie theater ever since leaving university, TV and film as well. And she's written, I believe now, 6 full-length plays. Weza is really interesting. The Birth of Weza, I directed the show in Banff. So this is my second time directing this show, which is quite fun to see the same script, but totally different interpretations by the performers. And Joanne has actually since kind of transitioned into film. So her first feature film was called Tammy's Always Dying, about a mother-daughter relationship where the mother every day wakes up and thinks that she's going to die that day. And this screenplay got picked up, and Felicity Huffman starred in it, and it was released at TIFF, which is Toronto International Film Festival.
Great.
So huge success has come to Joanne in the last couple of years, and she just finished a 6-month residency at the Toronto International Film Festival. She was the only screenwriter from across Canada that was given a residency to create her second screenplay.
Excellent.
So a female playwright and screenwriter, it's really exciting. Yeah.
That is really exciting. So you can find tickets through Eventbrite for the Birth of Weza. It's happening February 27th, 28th, and 29th at the Harbour City Theatre.
That's right.
And you must go. Get your tickets on Eventbrite. You don't want to miss it. Any final thoughts that you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I just think we live in a time right now where Netflix and Crave and all these things, they're producing such amazing shows that we all talk about. We go to work, we sit around and have coffee. But going and experiencing live theater, it's so important. When you see a human being in front of you on a stage performing, it's electric. It's electric for the audience just as much as it is for the performers. So I encourage people, it's that time of year, it's rainy and all that. Put Netflix away for a night, get some friends together, take your partner out, and see what we've come up with, and it's great.
And come down to the Harbour City Theatre. We're going to send you guys back on over to Matt Carter now.
Thank you very much, Vanessa, and thanks again, Joe, Sherry, and Collette for joining us. Again, Birth of Weza, go check that out, as opposed to the Rebirth, which would require you to be Weza-rected. If the Weza-rected for the Rebirth. All right, anyways, moving along real quickly and sticking with the creative arts, it's time to meet our musical guest now, a return visitor to the program and some with considerable pedigree performing around town here and across Canada, Mr. Mark Crissinger. Mark, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Very stoked to have you here. And now I'd like me you enjoy a good craft beer during your music travels. Do you have any recommendations for me and our viewers here?
In BC?
Sure. Yeah. I'll just step up a little closer to the mic too. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, officially, I shouldn't recommend anybody. I have to say that I've really been liking what they're doing at Small Block in Duncan. Yeah,
All right. Now we have a plan after the show then.
Yeah. Well, we're going to need somebody to drive us.
You can't really walk, even though I got to say, Doug, check out these shoes here. Any musical guest that rocks the chucks as well is a wonderful, wonderful guest in my book there. So, all right, so great tunes as well as great shoes. Congratulations on your new album, Believe in Love.
Yeah, thank you. It came out in mid-September, and it's sitting in the charts and getting lots of airplay. And 2 of the songs are getting played on Stingray, the Blues channel, Stingray Music.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, so they've been supportive over the last few years, so I'm happy about that. Yeah.
I got to ask you about the title too. Did you not believe in love before this?
I always did. I just don't believe in stupid.
Well, I'm sorry you're talking to me then. So,
no, I just thought, because what generally happens is when you release an album and you use a publicist and you're doing TV shows and stuff like that. If you're going to talk about something repetitively for like a year or 18 months, let's just drive the message home and believe in love. That's all we got, really. That's all we got left, really.
Absolutely, yeah. Point, yeah. And needed more than ever. Yeah. I did notice, looking online at the album, listed as blues and country blues. And so I've always thought of you knowing you more as like blues and rock. So is there more country in this album compared to previous songs or albums that you've done?
Yeah, on this one, I was my idea was to have a sort of a rock solid funky rhythm section with bluegrass type of country picking on it, and some and electric country picking on it. Oh, nice. I just like how that's happening, and then we threw some Pierre Coleman on sax in there in the middle of all of that, just to sort of give it some soul. And yeah, it's 6-piece band. I'm really happy with the album. If anybody wants to check it out, they can go to my website for that. Yeah.
All right, perfect. And all right, now before we ask you more about the summer, I noticed you're doing a really cool thing, the Hornby Island Blues Workshop. And what I read is you were a student there previously, and now you're doing some teaching. Tell us a bit about your involvement with the up at Hornby.
Yeah. Oh, real quickly. I met the people who organize it. It's been going on for 20 years now, actually, up there, and they get stellar Canadian blues artists to instruct every year. Anyways, they approached me last year at a what's called the Blues Summit. It's like sort of like a seminar and gathering for blues artists and promoters and festival people. And they approached me and they started talking to me. They asked me if I could teach and do all this kind of stuff. And I have been developing 2 different classes for the last few years that I plan on taking out to Europe soon. And so we started talking about that. And so I decided to go up last year. I went up last year and went to see if there was any room for what I do up there. And at the same time, I took some classes because it would be crazy not to with all those great players. And then this year, they invited me to be the sort of community liaison. So I'm going to do their blues in schools stuff, which is exactly where I'm trying to get to moving forward. Other than playing music, I really want to try and get into blues in schools, guitars for kids, and a couple of other things I'm developing for 2020.
Blues is a genre that's been around for a long time now. How are today's kids going to respond to the blues, do you think?
Because it's self-expression, and I mean, even in the 20s, blues man would cry and complain and reach out to God or a woman or whatever to look for help in their life's problems. And I think a lot of young people are still looking for a place to reach out to when they have problems and questions and are wondering what the hell's going on, and people need to understand that that's what blues music is. We're asking questions of each other and we're crying out for help in a lot of ways, and without getting into getting too heavy, you know. But I mean, I think that blues is a great way, either songwriting around blues or expressing yourself through blues music is a great way to express what you may be going through, you know, with any kind of issues, you know.
Very poignant stuff. And,
yeah, I think so.
Mark, we got to wrap up and get back to some more music here real quick. Again, the Blues Workshop coming April 5th to May 2nd, if I've got that right or so.
Yeah, it's the last week of April, and then finishes off with a big concert on May the 2nd, I believe. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get back to some music, as you've spoken about here, to get that emotion out there. Mark Crissinger, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and let's hear a track now called Roll with the Punches.
You got to roll with the punches.
Roll with the punches.
Thank
on
you,
the
Matt.
show on Shaw. Thanks, Mark.
Cheers. Lying in bed in the middle of the night, staring into the wall. When life gets you this stressed out, it ain't no fun at all. You gotta roll, you gotta roll, you gotta roll with the punches, man, if you wanna move on. I've been making plans and throwing dice, trying to get her done. Along come fate with another bad deal, and now I'm on the run. You gotta roll, you gotta roll, you gotta roll with the punches, man, if you wanna move on. Well, the water that flows off a duck's back flows into tears of joy. Releasing all that stress is a philosophy I employ. You gotta roll with the punches, man, if you wanna move on. So the next time you are down for the count, your head spinning around, dust off your pride, get back up and go another round. You gotta roll, you gotta roll, yeah, you gotta roll with the punches, man, if you wanna move on. You gotta roll, you gotta roll, you gotta roll with the punches, man, if you wanna move on. You gotta roll with the punches, man, if you wanna move on. You gotta roll with the punches, man, if you wanna move on.
Well, I think I've just found my new theme song. After all, we have to roll with the punches every day and always, because you never know what's going to happen. But we know what's going to happen right now. Right now, we're going to talk to Mickey Findlay, who is amazing in this community for a brand new, I guess it's not really brand new anymore, but a fairly new organization called the Works of Heart Project, and a fundraiser's coming up, and we're going to hear all about it right now. Welcome to the show, Mickey. So good to have you back.
Thank you for having me again.
That's really great to have you back. Why don't you share with us really, first of all, what is the Works of Heart Project? And then we'll talk about the fundraiser.
Works of Heart Project is challenging bullying, challenging racism, and promoting kindness and inclusion. but through creative means.
Yes, and really, it is such a diverse problem, and it hits us on so many different levels, through all ages, through all ranges. So it's important that we really pay attention to the words that we use, right?
That's right. Language is huge.
It is.
I used to think, well, political correctness, but I get it now, because when we dehumanize people, that's when things get dangerous. That's when people are treated badly, right?
Yes,
and there's a lot of that going on around online and
all over, and it's such a subtle kind of conversation. No, it's not a subtle conversation, but it can be very insidious and very underhanded, right? Sometimes we're insulted by things we don't even realize that we're being insulted by, right? And yet there's a slander piece that gets attached to it, right?
Absolutely. So Works of Heart is a way to speak out.
Yes.
It's like kind of like peaceful activism. Like when we did the huge human heart, that was our first project in Parksville on the field. And we just formed a huge human heart on Anti-Bullying Day, just to show people they're not alone, right?
Yes.
That we're hearing, we're seeing, we know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's important that we really recognize that it's small acts of kindness that make the difference every day, right? Absolutely. And that's what you want to do with this project, and in particular with the the fundraiser that's coming up. Let's talk about the fundraiser.
Well, the fundraiser is a concert and a silent auction.
Yeah.
The concert, I'm very excited about it, March 22nd.
Yeah.
2 to 4.
Yes.
And we've got Terrazetto, which is an incredible world music band from Nanaimo, with Sweet Santa Fe from Comox, another headliner. Brilliant. And we've got a drum circle happening, so that because it's all about inclusivity.
Yes.
Is that a word, inclusivity?
It is.
Okay.
If it's not, we're making it one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a wonderful night.
Yeah.
We have a silent auction starting at 1 o'clock before the concert, so people can come and they can bid, and then it's going to be.
And they come and they dance and they play, and then and then they go back and they bid again, right?
Yeah, they can get their last bid and up their friends, right? At the end of the concert, after the concert.
But just to be clear, this is called the Heart Song
for Humanity.
Yeah.
So really it's about diversity, celebrating our differences and respecting our differences. And I'm hoping this will inspire people in other towns, other cities to do the very same thing.
Absolutely. And with the money, the plan is to do small acts of kindness in the community, right?
Just to keep us spreading our message, to be able to go out in the community and we're going to have a task force that we're going to start to plan creative works of acts of kindness.
Acts of kindness.
In the community.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better in the world than kindness. I think that
We all
need
need it.
a little bit more of that, don't we?
We don't know what people are going through.
No.
It's one word can make a difference. One
really
smile can make a difference.
Mickey, why did you get involved in this project? There must have been something that stood out for you that was impactful, that made you want to walk ahead with Works of Heart?
I'm thinking it has a lot to do with, not to go into a lot of detail about my upbringing, and I think I know how it feels to not have control, to not be seen, to not be heard. And there are people out there that need to know that they are important, that they are valued.
Yes.
So, it's, my heart is in it. I think a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
And bullying, I've been through all that.
Yeah.
A lot of us have.
And even as adults, right? Me too. And even as adults, right? When you come out of it and you get to do something with it that's quite magical, and that's what you've done with the Works of Heart project. So one last thing is, when is it again? What's our dates, our times, and how do we get tickets?
Ground Zero Acoustic Lounge in Parksville.
Okay. It's
at March 22nd, 2 to 4. Auction starts at 1 though, and am I missing anything?
I don't think you are, but I think that people need to bring their money, and I think they need to bring with them the intention of having a blast on this wonderful event. Yeah. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Mickey.
Cathy.
I'm going to throw it back over to Vanessa now, who's got some shining going on.
Thanks so much, ladies. I just want to extend a thanks to for that interview in particular. It really hits home for me. But we're going to jump right into our next little segment here. Our next guest is Dean Thalner, who some of you may recognize as one of our studio crew. We've got him here under a different hat this evening. Dean is here to talk about Shine 2020 Nanaimo, a fantastic day. He is the founder and executive producer of Shine, and I'm lucky enough to tag along beside him as the assistant producer. So Dean, what is Shine?
Well, Shine has been running in Vancouver for the past 10 years. Volume Studio Productions is my company, and we were lucky to raise over $5 million to help hospitals open up beds for mental health and addiction. I retired, or semi-retired, to Vancouver Island last year, and I actually had an accident myself that ended up me being in the Nanaimo Regional Hospital. Through that process, I found out that the Nanaimo Regional Hospital was originally built for 70,000 people, and over 450,000 people are going through those doors every day. The ICU at the Nanaimo Regional Hospital needs an upgrade. It's one of the oldest ICUs in Canada. And despite the fact that it has 9 beds and the angels that work in that hospital are doing a great job, I think we can all agree that Nanaimo is expanding. It is an ever-growing population who is going to become older. And I think it's really important that as a community, we have a call to action to create an annual event to raise money and awareness to help the hospital and to help all of us feeling safe and having the health care that we deserve.
Absolutely. They do give some tremendous care in that intensive care unit. It's spoken about often, and we do know they can do a lot better with a little bit more to work with. So the Nanaimo Hospital Foundation is actually committed to raise the entire $5 million that's needed for this project.
Correct.
And that's where we get to come in and start shining.
Well, so the flip side here is that outside of being a fundraiser, Shine is a platform for the artistic community of Nanaimo to express itself in its own terms.
Mm-hmm.
So the translation of that is that we have over 200 actors, dancers, singers, drag artists, musicians, circus performers, and more who have been rehearsing for the past 7 months to take the audience on a theatrical 90-minute journey about the life or the day in the life of being in Nanaimo. So I won't tell much about the story, but I will say that it opens up with a boy and a girl who bump into each other, and they have a romantic journey, and they go all through the island to Parksville, Qualicum, Courtenay, Comox, Lanceville, and they stream together oodles of talent, dancing, singing, acting, and it's really just a celebration of community. You know, in my experience, not everybody has the ability to reach into their wallets to help a community, but everyone can reach into their hearts and give with their hearts and their talent, and I'm so impressed with the amount of people that have come out to shine for Nanaimo.
It's really true, everybody. We just won't leak anything to you yet because we have another treat coming up for you in the studio soon. But we can tell you that it's happening on April 11th at the Nanaimo Conference Center.
Yeah.
You can get your tickets now through Eventbrite.
Yes, you can get them at www.info@volumestudio.ca, or you can go to the Shine Nanaimo Facebook.
That's right.
But I want to tell people that this is not like a normal fundraiser. You're not going to listen to boring speeches and eat bad chicken dinners here. You're dressing up. You're going to show up at 7 o'clock and have cocktails and appetizers with everybody. This event, we really celebrate diversity and inclusion as well, so everyone gets the same experience. Mm-hmm. At 7 o'clock after the reception, 7:30, the doors will open. Everyone will go in and watch a 90-minute show, and at the end of the event, it turns into a 70s disco party that will go well into 2 in the morning. So please come out and support the hospital. I think it's really important.
I have to say I agree, and that's just not the selfishness inside of me talking. So Shine is actually set to become an annual event here in Nanaimo, supporting the Hospital Foundation. We're looking to build some strong community relationships and encourage communities to come together to support communities and to support growing the arts right here in Nanaimo and on Vancouver Island.
Absolutely, and everyone can get involved. Please go onto the website again. It's www.volumestudio.ca. We're looking for people to model, and I don't mean model. I want real people on the runway celebrating this community. We're looking for silent auction. We're looking for items to go in balloons to pop and win. We're looking for volunteers to be there that day just to help out. You can imagine with 200 people behind the scenes and an audience packed, there's never enough hands. So please reach out to us. We'd love to have your support.
That's right, and that's all the time we have for this segment, but thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. We're gonna have a little visit with Matt again, I think.
Thanks, Vanessa. Yes, I'm back, and Vanessa, Dean, thank you guys so much. I actually have a little surprise, real quick. So, this is my mom, my mother. Cathy. Everyone say hi, Mom. Everyone say hi, Mom. Round of applause. And it's a bit fortuitous, visiting from Saskatchewan at the time, but my mom worked in the intensive care unit in Nanaimo for more than 20 years. So I just sort of wanted to bring you on TV and just let Dean and Vanessa know what does it mean to you to hear about the work they're doing to help improve the ICU in Nanaimo.
near and dear to my heart, obviously, so I was thrilled to hear about this little segment. But yeah, I worked there for over 20 years. I've been retired for 10 years. So certainly over that period of time, I saw some changes. But to be able to have, the community come together and give donations, and ICU is a place where the most vulnerable people come, and their families and their friends, and to have everyone who works in that unit have a wonderful place to be able to do the best that they can do is so important.
Oh, thank you. I have to give you a hug. I love that.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
And mention all the folks, the nurses, doctors there, you called them angels, right?
Yes.
And they really are doing that. That
incredible work under difficult situations, right?
Yeah.
Without enough room.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, exactly. Showing again the value of Shine 2020 we're doing. So thank you both very much.
Thank you.
All right, and now, because I want to do something a little heartfelt, I don't really have any other puns for you this evening other than I see you. That's it. That's the extent of it. So I'm going to do my flippity flip and say thanks so much to all the guests, my mom especially, the folks in front of the camera and behind the scenes. If you have an event, cause, demonstration issue that you'd like to bring to the program, we're always looking for great Central Island guests, so do drop us a line. You can find more about this program on Facebook, facebook.com/The Show on Shaw, and check out previous episodes of the show on YouTube as well. Just search us up there. Before we go, though, one more song from Mark Crissinger. Enjoy the blues. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night.
Well, the doctor said, son, you ain't doing so well. You got the blues as far as I can tell. Blood pressure's high, cholesterol too. There's only one thing that I can say to you: go out dancing. Best medicine you can find. If you wanna get that light back in your eyes, get out on that dance floor and Bluesercise. So I heard about a party happening down at the Queen's. Some good old folks, they're making quite a scene, celebrating life, kicking at the can, giving lots of love to the musicians and dancing. Best medicine you can find. If you wanna get that light back in your eyes, get out on that dance floor and Bluesercise. Donna, Fred and Denise, Daryl, Sharon, Janet, Ian and Irene, Hines, Alice, Angela and George, Mark, Mike, Cathy, Holly, Cindy, Jim and Dee, go dancing. Best medicine you can find. If you wanna get that light back in your eyes, get out on that dance floor and Bluesercise. If you wanna get that light back in your eyes, get out on that dance floor and Bluesercise. Bluesercise, Bluesercise, come on, Bluesercise, Bluesercise, get out there and Bluesercise, yeah, Bluesercise.